welcome to the stage co-founders and co-chief executive officers, TheSkimm, Danielle Weisberg and Carly Zakin.
I think a lot of people in the audience are probably thinking about starting their own companies. You two both worked in traditional media before you set this up. What made you think that you wanted to do it differently?
I think the biggest misnomer is that it's something that happened overnight, or that it was a decision that we made and then quit our jobs the next day and started it. We loved storytelling, we loved interviewing people, we loved just kind of being in the know. And we were news geeks from a really early age. I think Carly wanted to be Katie Couric. I wanted to be on the campaign trail. And we worked really hard to get our foot in the door. We started interning at NBC News when we were 18 and worked there through college and then got full-time jobs. So for us, it was really weird to be in this position of having your dream job, having worked so hard to get your foot in the door, move up in the ladder, and then realize that in many ways we were a product of the recession, graduated college in 2008, worked our way into jobs, and then we're kind of like, oh, well, things still haven't picked up, and now we have our dream job, but there's nowhere to go.
Okay, so take us back. It's the summer of 2012. You're sort of realizing that you have a lot of intelligent friends who want to be caught up on the news, but aren't. What makes you think that a newsletter is the way to go?
So it's funny. When we think back to that, we were first longtime friends. We then bonded over being in the same industry. Then we became roommates. And we were living in this really small apartment. And for those that know what it's like to procrastinate when you have an idea, when you live with your potential business partner, it's a really good way to not procrastinate because we just were like a reminder in each other's face. And we would just swap these anecdotes of our friends coming to us every day and saying what happened in the world. And us saying, well, watch what we just worked on all day. And then they'll just tell me what happened in the world. And it was just this back and forth, and we just would kind of share these stories. And then when we realized that there was this disconnect and we could solve it, we also thought about, well, what are the routines that our friends have that we have every day, and how do we integrate ourselves into those routines? And not even thinking twice about it, the first thing that we did and that our friends do every morning, and it still holds true, is our alarm goes off on our phone. It's on a nightstand. You roll over, you turn your alarm off, and then you read email first from friends and family. So we had to be a part of what we call that one eye open routine. And that really became, we say that we are like the new definition of morning television because our friends were not just, rolling over and turning on the TV to see familiar faces. They wanted to hear from something that sounded like their friend and roll over and do that. So that's why we say that we've recreated morning television because we really have kind of owned that morning routine. And, it's funny, we get asked a lot, why is it 6 a.m.? Why did it go out that early? The scientific reason was that one of my best friends worked in finance, and I knew she left her house at 6 a.m., so we wanted to make it so that she could read it before she went to work, and that kind of just worked. So that's how we started doing that.
How did you get the word out?
So when we started this, we had about $3,000 saved up between the two of us. We were working in media, not known for paying the most money. And we saved as much as we could, which, to be honest, living in New York it's very hard to save and pay rent at the same time. So we did the best that we could. We quit our jobs. Our parents gave us a hug, said that, they were really proud and slightly terrified. But that was, as much support as they gave us. So when we started, we had our laptops, which were halfway broken, and a vision of what we wanted the company to be, and a lot of food in our refrigerator, because we were like, we can't order in anymore. So that was, the resources that we had. So we basically had a very grassroots strategy, and I say it as if it was a strategy, but it was basically just working with anything at our disposal.